What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Benchworks Garage. My name's Corey, and today's going to be a little bit different video. We're going to be getting to the GTX, but first I want to talk about something that there's been some renewed interest in. I posted recently that I had repaired some more HP Tuners MPVI 1s, and I had some messages from people with a bit of caution or skepticism, wondering if I could actually repair these devices, and I can. And then some people trying to caution me that I was taking on a giant by doing this with HP Tuners. And I want to explain a little bit about what it is that I do and how it is that I'm able to do it. In the past, through a company that I did some work for, both as an employee and a contractor, I became quite close with a few employees over at HP Tuners, and we had a very good working relationship. It was only after a forced update that I no longer could service some customers that had retrofitted fishing boats in a different country that I reached out to them and asked them to help me with it. My contact there in upper management came back and essentially said, the answer I've been given is there will be no exceptions. And at that point I decided that I was going to start fixing them. However, I had previously discussed with them the ongoing issue with pirated copies of their software, and I knew that they were prepared to defend their intellectual property as they should. That is their intellectual property, and it's their right to defend that. So the reason that I have not, stuck to the shadows and I've been a bit brazen about repairing this is for two reasons. One, I firmly believe that they know, at least to some degree, how I might be doing this. They know that I have the ability to do this. They know that I am not dumb enough, if you will, to violate the DMCA or their copyright and infringe on their intellectual property. I have made it perfectly clear in my previous videos, every single one, that this is not in an effort to circumvent licensing. I do not condone the piracy of their software, and if at any time someone mentions the fact that they have a brick device as a result of pirated software, or ask me to help them downgrade their firmware so they can utilize pirated software, I cut contact immediately. I will not tolerate that. My goal here is to repair devices that have been bricked. Some of their most loyal customers with nearly full devices, 300 plus licenses, end up with a brick device, and that is simply unacceptable. There is a method in which the firmware can be downgraded without touching any firmware on the device itself, which arguably, depending on what version of the end user license agreement, may or may not violate copyright. And if you reverse engineered any part of the VCM suite, that of course would be a violation as well. But there is a method to do this without doing either of those things. The communication between the interface and the software relies on some bits of software, if you will, that are not proprietary to them. They do not own the rights to, and you can manipulate the data that flows through that space as you please. And that may give some of you a little bit of a hint as to how I'm doing this. But ultimately, you own a license to that previous firmware, and it's your right to downgrade that firmware. And especially if you are doing it in a legitimate circumstance, there's no reason to believe that I've devalued their product. There's no reason to believe that I have gained from some illegitimate use. And more importantly, if HP Tuners were to file suit against me with the argument, or at least during discovery argued, that I had violated some form of DMCA, they would first have to admit that they have the ability to repair the devices that they've told so many of you that they don't have the ability to repair. Now, we all know, obviously, if I can repair them, they have the ability to repair them. But if they were to file suit against me claiming that I had used their software to repair their product after telling hundreds, if not thousands, of people that it cannot be done, they would then be admitting, in order to file suit against me, that they have lied to all of those customers, which is opening them to the liability of a huge class action lawsuit, which is none of my business. If enough people want to put that together, and do that, so be it. That's not my prerogative. My MO here is not to damage HP tuners in any way. My MO is to hold them accountable, and if they are not going to do what's right by their longtime and loyal customers, then I'm going to do what is required in order to allow the customers of HP tuners servicing their customers in a legal manner. And that's exactly what I've done. So I hope that this clears up some of that confusion and reassures not only the people that have reached out to me about repairing one of these devices, but also HP tuners. The contacts that I have there, I know occasionally watch these videos, and I'm sure that eventually some of them end up making them up to Keith. My intention is not to cause any trouble or devalue the product there. I still, to this day, continue to use HP tuners to service my customers, but only after I was forced to create a method in which I could repair a device after they took the ability from me without warning, without consent. And that's what I have a problem with. So I hope that this clears some of that up. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below, and I'll do my best to answer them. Thank you.